I think what I'm going to do, because I can't remember what it says, I'll just go ahead and brush some of the pine straw away. All right, it says Avery Bates, 1857 to 1887. So he was 30 years old when he died here. It says Brickyard Cemetery. This stone was placed about 5 years ago by the heirs, the family of Avery Bates. I don't know how they were connected with Richard Beckerer, a professor who wrote an article called Bricks and Bones about this specific site in the practice of least convict labor here. The Pulitzer Prize-winning book, Slavery by Another Name, is all about the practice of least convict labor throughout the South. And there's only a few pages in the book that are about this specific site, but it's relevant in terms of the entire practice. The documentary film, when this stone was placed, there was film taken at this location, and the author, Douglas Blackman, was threatened with lawsuits if he used any film taken on this site, and so he did not. And but Riverside Kate's research and the information she had posted on her website, atlantasupperwestside.com, led to Richard Beckerer contacting her, and then we hosted them to hike over here. This place was closed off. We met at Whittier Mill Park. We hiked through the woods, over the railroad tracks, and around the fence to get over here, and they placed this stone at that time. Beckerer has photos in his report with photos of over in that quadrant over there, location where there are stones, unmarked stones that are placed in such an array that might suggest that they were grave markers. We don't know for certain. We know that even ground penetrating radar in this very acidic soil, graves that are 100 years old would not have any voids left. And there is no way to really validate the anecdotal information that we have about people being buried here, nor about people being cremated in the kilns, in the brick kilns. We were wondering whether we could, find some old bricks and have some DNA samples obtained out of any of the old bricks or something like that, but it seems unlikely. I don't know that would be kind of a weird exercise. The practice that occurred here is well known, well documented. This occurred from after the Civil War all the way through 1909. There were hearings in the state legislature in 1908 and 1909, which resulted in the practice of least convict labor being stopped in Georgia at that time in 1909. I believe that it continued in the state of Alabama at least for 20 years after that. I read somewhere that 20% of the budget of the state of Alabama during the 1920s came from least convict labor. And so this is a marker that was just recently placed about 5 years ago by the descendants of Avery Bates, and there it is. In the package that you have, there's a yellow looking map. It's like a survey of this property, and it has an arrow drawn and a handwritten note that says temporary cemetery, and it's pointing to this location right here, and that's why this was placed in this location.